What's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? It's your buddy, it's your pal, SpazPhoenix, the YWC Reality Check. And I'm going to be honest, this one did not come out of my head. This is not a brainchild of my own. This video, quite frankly, is a request from my buddy John, from Beer Money 2K, from the Four Horsemen, etc., and of TwitWow fame, if you are an iTunes podcast fan. In the midst of, juggling 3 or 4 different topics for videos that I was gonna put out, one of them being the wellness policy video that I've done, one of them being the fantasy draft that I did, and others being videos that I'm going to do later on my Twitter, in my feed, I got a random message from everybody's buddy John. And it's cool to know, it's cool when other people bring things to you, not because they're excited about it, but because they know that you will be excited about it. And it's very, very evident when you talk about people that watch my reviews, know who my fave 5 are, anybody who is new to the channel, whatever, if you watch the Raw reviews, at the end of every Raw review, I do, what kind of week my fave 5 is having. My fave 5 being CM Punk, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, and The Miz. Oh yes. So when I get a message like this from my buddy John saying, so the rumored SummerSlam main event is Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Clearly you need to share your thoughts on this. I loved it. I popped huge just for the comment. I mean, Orton's from my fave 5. Lesnar is always going to be my buddy in the back pocket for what he's doing to John Cena right now. So my gut reaction is just do it. That was my gut reaction. Just do it. And I didn't really have anything else. So I sat on it for a couple of days. I put out some other vids. And I really thought about it. And my thought pattern for this video, or for this match, topical video, went from just do it to it'll be a great match to yeah, this should really happen to this needs to happen. I've narrowed it down to the top 7 reasons why this match needs to happen. There are others, and this is more, I don't know what you want to say, this is more objective. This isn't just, oh, I want to see it because it'll be cool. This will, this is some more concrete analysis on my part, I will say, now that I've had a chance to sit on it for a couple of days. But these are the top 7 reasons that Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam should be more than just a rumor. Number 1, very simply, if you know your WWE history, go back in time a little bit, they both hold records in the WWE. One was the youngest WWE champion of all time, one was the youngest World Heavyweight champion of all time. That element of they were great from the very beginning is similar between the two of them, so it's something that they could play up on in a rivalry. We had, we both hit our primes pretty early, and we've been steadily dominant ever since. Brock Lesnar could say, okay, I left and I branched off and I was excellent in the UFC, and you stayed here. He could sit there, for that matter, and compare him to John Cena. It would be another one of those, hey, maybe if I had stayed in WWE, you wouldn't have even held one of those championships, let alone all the ones that you've held. It's one little wrinkle in the story that could evolve into so many other little sub-things. Yeah, maybe if I had never left, you would have never held a single World Heavyweight Championship. Or, Orton could say, yeah, or if you had hung around, maybe I could have RKO'd your ass a long time ago and you would have never had the energy to come back. That's a thing. Currently, with what they're doing with Lesnar, this is going on to the next point now. Currently, what they're doing with Lesnar, they're really trying to play off this bravado and this, I hate using the word diva when it comes to male wrestlers because it sounds weird, but they really are trying to play him off like a diva. I'm great, you should be happy to even see me here, I should demand this, and this, versus the wrestlers that are really, pulling up their bootstraps in there every week and put their heart and soul into the ring and all that. This was really driven home, if I can go on a little bit of a side note, by the promo that Edge cut on Cena. Telling Cena, we're the ones that bust our asses all the time to make sure this industry is great and wonderful, and this guy is just coming in to pick the fruits of our labor. He's just here for the paycheck. Now, if you want to talk about, heartfelt contributions to the wrestling industry, talk to Randy Orton, first of all. Talk to the entire Orton family and the Orton legacy. that could, you know, that could be really, really great. You got this one guy that's fly-by-night for the paycheck versus a guy who's been wrestling for 10 years in the WWE, whose father and grandfather have heritage in the business as well. That difference of background, that difference of psychology and motivation would be a great source for a story. Another point, and I'm going to try and say this in a non-vindictive way, but it's somebody other than Cena. And I don't mean that Cena shouldn't have a match with Lesnar. I'm actually looking forward to the match that they have tomorrow night, because I'm pretty damn sure Cena's going to get destroyed. But there's certain rivalries that kind of exist outside the roster, and I've said this before. I said this in previous videos. I said this in my Brock Lesnar Rock video. Cena Rock kind of existed outside the rest of the roster. You know, Triple H Undertaker obviously existed sort of outside the roster. And even Brock versus Cena looks like it exists in its own place, not necessarily in the everyday story of the WWE. And it seems that all these larger than WWE rivalries always come to Cena. Oh, some big name's coming back? Oh, well, we know he's going to face Cena. So we all go into our default mode of, okay, Cena is going to face this next big name. If it goes to somebody else, like a Randy Orton, it provides variety. It gives us something different. We're not just going through the motions of another big name coming back. Okay, he's going to come in for a little bit, he's going to face Cena, and he's going to leave. Not that Lesnar's going to do that anyway, but it's great to see that it'll touch more than one guy. Punk is really the only person that Jericho has touched since he's been back, other than, you know, guys in the Elimination Chamber and seemingly a slew of matches with Kofi Kingston, which are great. But solely, Jericho's issue has been with Punk. Solely, The Rock's issue was with Cena. Solely, Lesnar's issue right now is with Cena. If we can prove that Lesnar's not so single-minded, that Lesnar's presence is not for that singularity, for that one reason, you know, this person's been brought in to build Cena, this person's been brought in to build Cena. No. Excuse me, guys. This person has been brought in to build in general. You know, it's somebody that's not Cena. Everybody, you know, including myself, complains that all the big matches, all the big, you know, marquee stuff happens with Cena. This would put a big dent in that. And as somebody that can't stand Cena, I want them to come back and put dents in my arguments so that I can have less problems with Cena. So this, being with Orton, even though people always say that Orton is the Cena of SmackDown, which is the most ridiculous statement ever, take the focus off Cena, let him chill, really. Let him relax, let him recover, whatever. Hell, even take some time off. If you want to have the two main rivalries be like Lesnar and Orton on SmackDown and Punk and Jericho on Raw, I don't think the WWE is going to be hurting for main events. You know what I mean? Alright, next point. Orton deserves it. Really and truly he does. Orton for the past, you know, year and a half at least has done nothing but help enhance and help boost the mid-card. And I've driven this point home before, but I'm going to drive it home again. The last thing he did in the main event scene was hand the title over to Mark Henry and make Mark Henry look like a beast when he did it. After that, he went in, what did he do? He boosted Barrett, he boosted Sheamus, he boosted Rhodes, he boosted Ziggler, he boosted, I think, The Miz at one point. Now he's helping with this rivalry that he's got with Kane, but what did he do? He's been busting his ass to help everybody else develop over the past year and a half, and he got not the curtain jerker match, but the first sort of real match at WrestleMania where I personally believe he belongs very much higher on the card. So if nothing else, this match needs to happen because Orton deserves it. Another great thing that'll happen, I doubt Orton's going to be drafted to Raw anytime soon. This will be a great bit of spotlight for SmackDown. I said this in my Spaz, you know, Save SmackDown video that I did a week or so ago. All the big rivalries, all the big returns happen on Raw. Jericho came back, it was on Raw. Lesnar's back, it's on Raw. Triple H and Undertaker came back, all of their altercations happened on Raw. This not only is it a big name in the wrestling world, but it's a big name outside the wrestling world as well, bringing all those eyeballs potentially to SmackDown, even if it's only in the short term, would do wonders for the building of SmackDown. Great point. More minor point, and it's just a point of what makes sense more than anything else. Lesnar, when he had his great, I think it was a two and a bit year run when he first came to the WWE. Most of that run, if not all of it, I believe, happened on SmackDown. His run-ins with guys like Benoit, guys like Hardy, when he had his Mania confrontation with Kurt Angle, when he had his confrontations with Hulk Hogan and The Rock and whatever, they all happened on SmackDown. Lesnar is, for all intents and purposes, a SmackDown talent. So those of us that saw him back then, it'll almost be sort of a homecoming for Lesnar to have a SmackDown rivalry. The last point I want to make, and this is probably the best one moving forward, people are mad, you know, the people that are mad about Lesnar being in the WWE, oh, he's only here for the short term, he's only got a part-time schedule, this and that, da-da-da-da-da, he's only going to be around for a year, he's only here for the money, whatever. That's fine. You know who does not fall into that category is Randy Orton. Randy Orton will get tremendous, you know, ring cred, street cred, he'll get the rub, as the expression goes, from Brock Lesnar. And the thing about Orton, in his role, in everything that he does on SmackDown, he will take the credibility that he is going to absorb from Lesnar, make his own name just a little bit bigger, and then when he goes in to boost that next, you know, sort of big new talent on SmackDown, you know, everybody's excited about the new guys coming in, like the Rybacks and the Damian Sandows and the Dean Ambroses and the Antonio, I still can't say it rightly, Cesaro. Orton will be the one to boost those guys sooner or later. So the more credibility he brings to them, the more he helps them out in the long run. So Lesnar versus Orton helps the undercard of SmackDown, because Orton has shown over the past several years that he does nothing but take everything that is given to him and pay it forward to the new talent. And I think that is, of anything, of any good positive thing you could possibly say about this match, that is the most important. Because Lesnar's not sticking around. We know that. He's got a one-year contract. He's got the option to return when that 1 year is over. Who knows whether he'll take it or not. Orton's been around a long time. He's not going to be around forever either, sadly. So you got to look to these young guys, and these young guys need to get the boost from the old guys. And the old guys that are giving them the boost right now on SmackDown, that's Randy Orton. So if you can do something to make Randy Orton look better, it'll make everybody else that he's making look good look better. And I think that is a fantastic progression, not only for SmackDown, but for the WWE in general. Anyways, that's my thoughts. There's my 7 points. That is why I think Lesnar versus Orton needs to happen at SummerSlam. I'd love to know what you guys think. But it's late. I'm losing my voice. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep this conversation going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.